Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I'm going to walk you through a game of MLD Frost UA, and I'm going to kind of show you my in-depth positioning here, whether they're going my Warlock or whether they're going me. And we kind of didn't figure this out till a little bit later in the game, so a little bit later in the game I'll start talking about that. But just real quickly, does this bother you guys, this kind of light in the background? I moved my desk around, it freaking bothers me. I feel like just drowning it out a little bit. I might do a background of some sort so you guys don't have to look at my freaking window and having the light come through. Anyway, maybe it's just me and I'm weird. But, so we're fighting an Ellie Shaman, a Warrior, and a Resto Druid here. These guys are all very good. And the whole purpose of this game, guys, when you're playing some Frost and UA, is to really annoy your team with slows, right? Do you guys know what Caltrops was from Survival Hunters? It's basically Caltrops with your big blizzard down, and you want to just keep them slowed as much as possible throughout the entire game, and not really sheep. So you want to triple dot, kind of the druid or the healer, kind of whatever it is, by just triple dotting, keeping them all slowed, keeping them all aids, and then just orbing on cooldown, and then just spamming, you know, Ice Lance and stuff like that for AoE damage. I'm playing my standard build here, not Glacial Spike, just playing Comet Storm, but it's kind of an unorthodox way of playing Mage, right? Because I am not sheeping and then bursting like I've talked so much about. In this comp, I'm actually kind of just constantly blizzarding, constantly, you know, doing my best to still burst with my orb or my Ebon Bolt, but that's not really the primary concern. Primary concern is just kind of staying alive and kind of rotting them. So my kicks, for example, in this composition might not be on an offensive go as much as it might be you know, on their offensive goes, locking an Ice Fury, locking a Stormkeeper, maybe locking a Cyclone, you know, if they're doing it. My kicks are to keep us alive. So the whole thing is reversed from what I'm normally talking about. Normally I'm talking about offense. I'm talking about, you know, getting triple CC, bursting, you know, getting triple CC with a sheep, a counter spell, and then bursting on one guy with a stun. That's not what we're doing here, guys. What we're doing here is, you know, just triple dotting, blizzard down, orb. This might be a playstyle that you much prefer. If you do like this playstyle, guys, I would totally recommend playing with maybe either a Shadow Priest or UA Lock, and this is kind of the more playstyle you're going to go with. I enjoy both types of playstyles. I think this gets boring after a while, but it's very effective. It's very fun. It's very almost relaxing compared to the other playstyle. It's not like, all right, we have to win here. We have to get this perfect setup. We have to get triple CC, you know, or before his trinkets back up because we need to kill in this little burst window. It's kind of like, okay, if we play well consistently over a 10-minute match, the healer's going to go out of mana. It's a dampening game, right? The healer's going to go out of mana, and we're going to win by triple dotting. So the positioning, I want to talk about a little bit. So typically we're going to have an aggressor and someone who's playing back a little bit between me and my Warlock here, Maldiva. So if I'm the aggressor, I'm the one pushing up, I'm the one kind of harassing the Druid and the Shaman, and he's the one pulling back on the Warrior. And whoever the Warrior is on is going to dictate who is going to be the aggressor and who is going to be, you know, the defender, the guy that's pulling back. If the Warrior's on me, guess what? I'm going to pull the Warrior back, and I'm going to hit the Warrior and make him, you know, pretty scared. If the Warrior's on my Warlock, the Warlock is going to pull back, and I'm going to be messing with the Shaman and the Druid by pushing in, kind of like what I'm doing right here. Although right here I'm a little too far in because, look, the Warrior charges me and I have to go into an ice block. So if I should have come back. This is a pretty bad block here. I should have came back before I even needed to block, right? So that was pretty bad there by me. But so the Warrior, when the Warrior's touching me, I want to be the one pulling back and have my Warlock then push into them and really harass the Resto Druid and the Ellie Shaman. And we're basically going to be doing this based on who the Warrior's on. And if we're doing this over and over a long period of time, we're actually going to be doing pretty well as far as pressure, because this Warrior isn't going to be able to, you know, stay in too long. Once he starts hitting my Warlock, then my Warlock pulls back, right? And if the Warrior's on the pillar and they're all pulled back, then great. That's really good, because then we can just dampen them and the Warrior's not doing effective damage, and, you know, it's going to be it's going to be okay. That's the ideal situation. But if the Warrior's hitting one of us, then we pull him back. So whoever the warrior's hitting, we're basically pulling him back away from his druid and doing damage to the warrior so that he can't, you know, be very effective. So here, warrior's hitting me. I actually want to just note that real quick, that the druid's way up here, up on the platform, and I jump off the platform to have the warrior chase me. That means the warrior cannot receive heals. Not only does he have no hots, but he's just too far to receive heals. Get an Ebon Bolt and Ice Nova off, and we actually get him to use his parry cooldown. So we get the warrior very low just by dragging him away. And that's kind of what I want you guys to take away from this video, is that in dampening, so dampening's already in, but in dampening, when you're fighting against melee classes, or especially melee caster X, and you're double caster, your biggest advantage is to make the melee obsolete, okay? To make the melee chase you away from his comfort zone, and make his class have to pillar. If he's on the pillar, then great, you've done your job. You're basically 3v2ing at that point, because the melee's on the pillar, and you kind of get to just turret both of them. So here we are. The warrior is, guess what, on my warlock. So what does that mean? My warlock plays back, I push back in. So it's really, you know, it's pretty cool how we're kind of doing this with the aggressor and, you know, defender type of play style. We're just switching positions based on whatever the warrior's hitting. So here I'm now pushed in. I'm kind of aggressing here on the druid and the shaman. I have an orb back up. When I get this orb back up, I can actually just throw it on them. You know, throw down a blizzard. Warrior's on me. Guess what? Warrior's on me. I'm going to peel back to the pillar. And if the warrior's staying on their pillar, lining us, then great. Now we can both kind of harass them. You know, both kind of just, you know, push in a little bit. And as soon as the warrior picks a target, boom, we pull the warrior back out. So yeah, that's the name of this game, guys. We're going to continue this. Druid's just kind of, you know, keeping up in mana. I think he actually got a drink off at some point in this game. My druid doesn't even have to cyclone that much. He can cyclone kind of when he wants to. I'm getting in here because the warrior, you know, is playing back at the pillar. I want to keep them on that pillar and aggress them as much as possible. I throw in Icy Veins and an orb, and we have an Ursol, so they're all kind of just getting cleaved down here. This is the juiciest moment for a mage, when they're all just in your slows, in your damage, with your veins. It's just phenomenal. This might maybe overstaying my welcome a little bit, but I have Icy Veins still up. Getting a little too excited though, so I should probably start pulling back. If that warrior's on me, start pulling that warrior back far like I am doing now with my druid, just playing out. Dampening is getting quite high here, so you don't want to, you know, overstay your welcome. If we stay in there for too long, guess what? We're going to start losing the mana battle. We're going to start losing the cooldown battle, like I talked about in a previous video, with constantly trading cooldowns with your enemy, trading offensive cooldowns for defensive cooldowns. If we stay in there, it's a losing game. If we kind of pull the warrior out, it's a winning game. That's the difference between winning or losing this game, is really just positioning. And I haven't made a lot of videos on, you know, precise positioning, so that's why I wanted to do this video, because without this precise positioning, without moving back and forward like we were doing this game would have been an easy loss for us. But since we're really putting them in a position where the warrior is rendered useless, as dampening gets deeper and deeper, we put ourselves at a strategic advantage here against this team. So once again, guys, have this blizzard down, reducing the cooldown on my orb as much as possible. I have about almost 2 blocks back up. Again, that one block that I did was because I overstayed my welcome. Pulling the warrior back here, hitting the warrior pretty hard. My warlock is just doing so much spread pressure here on pretty much everything. By the way, I didn't mention trinket usage and races, so it's a Blood Elf Warrior. It's always nice to go in Blood Elf Warrior, so if we do get him in a bash or something like that, it's very nice. I do recommend, guys, whenever you get into an arena match, the first thing you want to look at is you want to click on all 3 and look at all 3 of their races. You want to click on all 3 and look at all 3, you know, if they're running Relentless, Trinket, or Adaptation. That's going to dictate how you play. For example, in this game, if the warrior is playing Adaptation, it might have been, you know, a much better strategy just to sheep off the Adaptation, move the warrior back, and kill him in a bash with some type of CC on the druid. You know, if the warrior was Orc Relentless, not so much, right? So it definitely changes how you're going to be playing this game. Even with the shaman here, a lot of shamans are orcs, so it's hard to kill them in a stun. But this shaman that we're playing against, I think, is a Tauren, and that leads us, you know, the stuns are going to last a little bit longer on a Tauren compared to an orc, so that means we could kill him in a stun much easier. So that's something I do want to point out. Whenever you join a game, very good habit to get into. What trinkets are they running, and what race are they? Are they humans? If they're human, they have an extra stun trinket. You know, that's going to be much harder. Are they playing Adaptation? Are they playing Trinket? But as you can see, guys, look at this point in the game. We're all kind of full HP. Their druid's Third Druid's dead. They're kind of all rotting. And this has come from minutes and minutes and minutes of doing this positioning, kind of slowly war of attritioning through all of their cooldowns. I hop into a second block just to be nice and safe. I do have Veins available. Once I can get this Veins down with some type of Blizzard, AoE, it should just be, you know, spell the end for these guys. But pop my Veins, and boom, Druid goes down, Shaman goes down. We kind of get a, you know, multi-kill there. There's the damage breakdown. My Warlock got to absolutely destroy the damage charts, and I still did a lot of damage, kept them all slow that entire game. Did a little bit more damage than the Warrior, actually, which is nice, as a Frost Mage, and Shaman did quite a bit of damage as well. Guys, if you liked this breakdown of positioning, a little more in-depth video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Talk to me in the comments down below, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!